The Valith diplomatic vessel emerged from hyperspace with all the grace of a dancer, its crystalline hull catching Earth's sunlight in prismatic arrays. Admiral Sarah Chen watched from the bridge of the UES Defender, Earth's flagship, as the alien ship approached. Even from this distance, the technological gap between their civilizations was painfully obvious. The Defender, humanity's proudest achievement, looked like a child's construction toy next to the organic curves and advanced materials of the Valith craft. "They're hailing us, Admiral," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers hovering over the communications array. Chen straightened her uniform. "Put them through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing High Emissary Taylor of the Valith Confederation. The aliens' iridescent scales shifted colors as they spoke, a biological display that humanity's scanologists were still trying to decode. "Greetings, representatives of Earth. We have reviewed your petition for membership in the Galactic Confederation." Chen felt her throat tighten. This moment would define humanity's place among the stars. "We find your species quaint," Taylor continued, mandibles clicking in what the translation software suggested was amusement. "Your determination to reach the stars despite your primitive technology is admirable, if somewhat misguided." The bridge crew shifted uncomfortably. Chen maintained her diplomatic smile, even as her hands clenched behind her back. "In recognition of your effort, we have decided to gift you with one of our decommissioned warships. The Starweaver is several generations behind our current fleet, but it should serve as an adequate example of proper spacefaring technology." The transmission cut off before Chen could respond. In the distance, a massive ship materialized, easily 3 times the size of the Defender. Its hull bore the scars of past battles, and several sections appeared powered down, but even in this state, it dwarfed anything humanity had built. "They're just giving it to us," Rodriguez whispered. Chen's eyes narrowed as she studied the vessel. "No, Lieutenant. They're making a point. This is their way of patting us on the head." In the following days, as Earth's governments debated how to respond to this generous gift, Chen met with Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Reverse Engineering Division at the Global Space Initiative. "They think they're being clever," Tanaka said, scrolling through preliminary scans of the Starweaver, "giving us outdated technology to show us our place. But they've made a crucial mistake." "Which is?" Chen leaned forward, intrigued by the scientist's barely contained excitement. "They don't understand human ingenuity. Yes, this ship is generations behind their current tech, but it's still centuries ahead of ours. More importantly, it's complete. We can study how everything works together, not just individual components." Chen smiled for the first time since the Valith's arrival, "and they expect us to just marvel at it, not understand it." "Exactly." Tanaka's eyes gleamed. "They see technology as something that progresses in a linear fashion. But humans, we're lateral thinkers. We don't just climb the ladder, we build new ones." "How long?" Chen asked. "To understand it completely. A year, maybe 2. But that's not what interests me." Tanaka pulled up a detailed schematic of the ship's power systems. "I'm more interested in what we can add to it. The Valith build everything to be perfect, optimized. They don't account for redundancies, for jury rigging, for the beautiful chaos of human innovation." Chen stood at the viewport, watching teams of engineers already swarming over the Starweaver, like ants on a fallen giant. "Then let's show them what humanity does with hand-me-downs." In orbit above Earth, the Starweaver floated silently, its systems humming with the first stirrings of new life. The Valith had meant it as a reminder of humanity's place in the cosmic hierarchy. Instead, they had handed humanity the keys to their own technological revolution. As Chen watched the work begin, she couldn't help but smile at the irony. The Valith's greatest mistake wasn't in underestimating human technology. It was in underestimating human determination. They had given humanity a gift, all right, just not the one they intended. Dr. Tanaka's footsteps echoed through the repurposed cargo bay of the Starweaver, now transformed into what her team affectionately called the workshop. Holographic displays flickered across makeshift workstations, where engineers and scientists from every corner of Earth worked in carefully orchestrated chaos. 6 months had passed since the Valith's gift, and every day brought new discoveries and new possibilities. "Status report," she called out, approaching the central monitoring station where her deputy, Dr. Marcus Wade, was frowning at a complex energy diagram. "We've cracked another layer of their quantum computing architecture," he said, not looking up. "You were right about their approach to processing. They build everything on perfect efficiency. No redundancies, no failsafes. It's elegant, but brittle," Tanaka finished. "Show me." The hologram expanded, revealing the intricate dance of quantum states that powered the Valith's computational systems. To most observers, it would appear flawless, a symphony of mathematics and physics working in perfect harmony. But Tanaka saw something else: opportunity. "They've optimized themselves into a corner," she explained, highlighting several key nodes in the system. "Their computers can process incredible amounts of data, but they can't adapt, can't improvise. It's like they've built the perfect violin, but they can only play one song." Wade grinned. "And we're about to teach it jazz." Across the workshop, teams were implementing what they called the Prometheus Protocol, a complete reimagining of how the ship's systems could work together. Where the Valith had built walls between different functions, humans were building bridges. Where they had sought perfection, humanity embraced controlled chaos. The ship's original quantum core remained, but now it worked in parallel with human-designed neural networks that could learn, adapt, and even improvise. The Valith's weapon systems, designed to fire with perfect precision, were being modified to work in patterns that no algorithm could predict. "Admiral Chen is here," a voice announced over the intercom. Tanaka straightened her lab coat as the Admiral entered, accompanied by her usual security detail. "Doctor," Chen nodded. "I understand you have something to show me." Tanaka led them to a sealed testing chamber at the rear of the workshop. Inside, a section of the ship's original hull floated in a containment field. "The Valith use crystalline matrices for their hull material," she explained. "It's incredibly strong and can channel energy for their shields, but it's also rigid, literal, and metaphorical in flexibility." She pressed a control, and a beam of energy struck the hull section. The crystal matrix glowed, dispersing the energy exactly as designed. "Perfect efficiency," Tanaka said. "Now watch this." Another command, and nanoscale structures began emerging across the surface of the hull piece, human additions that looked almost organic. When the energy beam struck again, something remarkable happened. Instead of simply dispersing the energy, the hull absorbed it, channeled it, and then released it in a controlled pulse. "We're not trying to match their perfection," Tanaka explained. "We're adding complexity, unpredictability, life." Admiral Chen studied the readings with intense interest. "And the Valith's monitoring systems won't detect any of it," Wade assured her. "As far as their sensors are concerned, we're just conducting basic maintenance on their obsolete warship. All of our modifications are running in what we call ghost layers, systems that exist in the spaces between their perfect designs." "Speaking of which," Tanaka added, leading them to another station, "we've made some interesting discoveries about their FTL drive." The hologram showed the Starweaver's faster-than-light propulsion system, a marvel of engineering that bent space itself. They use fixed equations to calculate their jumps. Very precise, very safe. But we found that the underlying mechanics allow for much more. Creative applications. "Creative how?" Chen asked, though her slight smile suggested she already knew where this was going. "Their ships can only jump along what they consider mathematically perfect routes. We're developing ways to jump through what they'd consider mathematical impossibilities. Shorter routes, unexpected angles, even using gravity wells to slingshot through space." Chen nodded slowly. "And how long until these modifications are complete?" "Another 3 months for full integration," Tanaka replied. "But here's the beautiful part. The ship will keep learning, keep adapting. Every engagement, Every maneuver will add to its capabilities. We're not just giving it new tools, we're teaching it to create its own. The Admiral's expression grew serious. Recent intelligence suggests we might need those capabilities sooner than expected. The Valeth are tracking something at the edge of their territory. Something that has them concerned, though they're too proud to admit it. Tanaka exchanged glances with Wade. They both knew what that meant. Their deadline had just moved up. "We'll be ready," Tanaka assured her. "The Valeth gave us this ship to show us our place in the universe. I think it's time we showed them where that place really is." As if in response, the lights in the workshop flickered briefly. The ship's systems processing another upgrade, another step in its evolution from cast-off curiosity to something entirely new. In the walls around them, quantum computers danced with neural networks in ways the Valeth had never imagined possible. And in the heart of the ship, humanity's amendments to alien technology were giving birth to something unprecedented, a warship that could think, learn, and grow. The Valeth's gift was becoming humanity's masterpiece, one impossible innovation at a time. The Valeth High Command's emergency transmission arrived without warning, cutting through every communication channel on Earth. Admiral Chen watched from the Starweaver's newly modified bridge as High Emissary Taylor's image materialized, the alien scales now a muted gray, a sign of extreme distress. "The Nexus swarm has breached our outer defense grid," Taylor announced, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Our computational models indicated this was impossible. They're adapting to our tactics faster than our systems can calculate new approaches." The bridge crew exchanged knowing looks. The Valeth's perfect, predictable strategies were becoming their undoing. "We are requesting assistance," Taylor continued, each word seemingly painful to pronounce. "Your observation posts are closest to the primary invasion corridor. Any tactical data you can provide." The transmission cut off abruptly. In its place, sensor readings flooded the main display, showing the approaching swarm. The Valeth's sophisticated defense platforms, each a marvel of engineering, were being systematically dismantled by clouds of smaller ships that moved with terrifying organic precision. "They're not just adapting," Dr. Tanaka observed from her station, fingers dancing across the interface. "They're learning. Every Valeth response makes them stronger. It's like they're feeding on the predictability." Chen nodded grimly. "Just like you predicted. The Valeth's perfect systems are giving the swarm perfect data to work with." She turned to her tactical officer. "Show me the swarm's projected course." The holographic display expanded, revealing the chilling truth. The Nexus swarm wasn't just attacking the Valeth. They were systematically harvesting their technology, incorporating it into their own ships. Each conquered system made them more formidable. "The Valeth's outer colonies are already lost," Rodriguez reported. "Their main world defense fleet is engaging." But he trailed off as new data poured in. The mighty Valeth warships, each one a technological marvel, were being swarmed and consumed. "Their ships can't adapt fast enough," Tanaka explained. "The Valeth built their entire civilization on the principle of perfect efficiency, but against an enemy that can learn and evolve." She shook her head. "They're fighting with a script against an improviser." Chen stood at the command podium, watching the tactical display with growing resolve. The Starweaver hummed around them, its hybrid systems, part Valeth precision, part human chaos, processing combat scenarios faster than either species could alone. "Doctor," Chen turned to Tanaka, "is our ship ready?" "As ready as it'll ever be. The neural networks are fully integrated with the Valeth systems. We've run every simulation we could think of, but," she managed a tight smile, "well, improvisation is what we do best." Chen nodded and opened a channel to Earth Command. "This is Admiral Chen requesting authorization to engage. The swarm will reach Earth space within days if the Valeth line breaks. We need to act now." The response came quickly. "Authorization granted. Good hunting, Admiral. Plot a course to the Valeth defense line," Chen ordered. "But use our calculations, not theirs." The Starweaver's engines thrummed to life, not with the pure crystalline note of Valeth technology, but with a deeper, almost organic resonance. The ship's hybrid drive engaged, and space itself seemed to twist in ways the Valeth had never contemplated. As they prepared to jump, Chen received one final transmission from Earth. Dr. Wade's team had completed their analysis of the swarm's attack patterns. They're not just consuming technology, his report concluded. They're consuming predictability itself. The more ordered and systematic their target, the more effectively they can counter it. Then let's show them some disorder, Chen murmured. The Starweaver vanished from Earth orbit in a way that would have horrified Valeth engineers, riding gravitational waves they considered too unstable to use, cutting through mathematical impossibilities with human-designed quantum algorithms that valued adaptation over perfection. They emerged in the midst of chaos. The Valeth defense fleet was in disarray, their perfect formations shattered by the swarm's relentless assault. The once proud ships were trying to calculate optimal solutions to an enemy that defied calculation. Multiple swarm elements detecting our presence, Rodriguez reported. They're having trouble getting a lock on us. Our hybrid signatures are confusing their targeting systems. Chen allowed herself a small smile. That's because they're expecting either Valeth or human technology, not both at once. She straightened in her command chair. All stations, combat positions. Let's show the universe what happens when human innovation meets Valeth engineering. The Starweaver's weapons came online. Ancient Valeth technology, now singing with new purpose through the lens of human creativity. They weren't just fighting to save Earth, or even the Valeth. They were fighting to prove that the future belonged not to those who sought perfection, but to those who dared to evolve. And in the space between order and chaos, humanity's greatest experiment was about to face its ultimate test. The Starweaver danced through space in ways its original designers would have deemed impossible. Where Valeth ships moved in precise, calculated patterns, Shen's vessel flowed like water, its hybrid systems allowing it to shift between order and chaos at will. Swarm elements attempting to establish a attack pattern, Rodriguez called out. They're struggling to predict our movement paths. On the main display, the enemy ships swarmed like angry insects, their adaptive algorithms trying desperately to make sense of the Starweaver's impossible maneuvers. Each time they thought they had locked onto a pattern, the ship would shift into an entirely new mode of operation. That's because we're not giving them any pattern to learn from, Tanaka explained from her station, her fingers flying across the neural interface. Every move we make is a mixture of Valeth precision and human randomness. The swarm can't adapt to what it can't predict. The ship shuddered as several swarm beams struck their modified shields. Instead of merely deflecting the energy as Valeth shields would have done, the hybrid defense system absorbed, channeled, and redirected it through the ghost layers they had built into the hull. Return fire, Chen ordered. Show them what else we've learned to do with Valeth technology. The Starweaver's weapons came alive, but not with the mathematical precision of its original design. The ship's quantum cannons fired in seemingly random sequences, each burst carrying different energy signatures. Some shots followed Valeth targeting protocols, while others curved through space in trajectories that defied conventional physics. Multiple direct hits, Rodriguez reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. The swarm, they can't adapt to our attack patterns because there are no patterns. Through the chaos of battle, Chen spotted something extraordinary. The nearest Valeth ships, their crews watching the Starweaver's performance, began to alter their own tactics. They weren't copying the human ship exactly. They couldn't, without the modifications, but they were starting to break from their rigid combat algorithms. They're learning, Tanaka whispered. The Valeth are actually learning to improvise. A massive swarm vessel, easily twice the size of the Starweaver, broke through the Valeth line and charged directly at them. Its surface rippled with stolen technology, a testament to all the civilizations it had already consumed. All power to forward systems, Chen commanded. Dr. Tanaka, initiate the Prometheus protocol. Admiral. That's still experimental, Tanaka warned. We've never tested it in actual combat. No time like the present. Doctor. Tanaka nodded and began the sequence. Deep within the Starweaver, human neural networks merged with Valith quantum systems in ways neither species had imagined possible. The ship's consciousness, born from this impossible union, expanded. The swarm vessel fired, its weapons incorporating all the technological advantages it had absorbed. But the Starweaver's response defied all expectations. Its shield geometry shifted microsecond by microsecond, each layer operating on different principles. Some layers used pure Valith technology, others human innovations, and others still a hybrid of both. They can't adapt to us, Tanaka announced triumphantly, because we're adapting faster than they can analyze. The Prometheus Protocol is letting us evolve our tactics in real time. Chen leaned forward in her command chair. All weapons, fire at will. Show them what evolution really means. The Starweaver unleashed its full arsenal. Each weapon told a different story. Valith quantum cannons firing through human-designed probability fields, shield frequencies modulating in patterns based on Earth music, targeting systems that incorporated both mathematical precision and artistic intuition. The massive swarm ship, for the first time, seemed to hesitate. Its adaptive algorithms, designed to counter and consume ordered systems, found themselves facing something unprecedented, a weapon that was neither ordered nor chaotic, but somehow both at once. They're trying to retreat, Rodriguez reported. Their entire command structure is falling apart. Without predictable patterns to exploit, their adaptation protocols are failing. Chen opened a channel to the Valith fleet. This is Admiral Chen. Target the swarm command ship's propulsion systems. Fire everything you have, but vary your attack patterns. Don't give them anything consistent to adapt to. The Valith, witnessing the effectiveness of human tactical chaos, responded. Their ships broke formation, each captain now adding their own variations to their traditional attack patterns. The combined assault, Valith power guided by human unpredictability, proved too much for the swarm to counter. The massive enemy vessel buckled under the onslaught, its adaptive systems overwhelmed by the impossible task of predicting the unpredictable. As it began to break apart, the rest of the swarm fleet fell into disarray. Without their command ship's coordinating influence, their much-vaunted adaptation capabilities became their weakness, each unit trying to evolve in a different direction. The swarm is retreating across all sectors, Rodriguez announced, his voice thick with emotion. They're actually running away. Chen allowed herself a small smile as she watched the enemy flee. On her display, she could see the Valith ships regrouping, but not in their usual perfect formations. Something had changed today, something fundamental. Send word to Earth, she ordered. The immediate threat is contained, and inform the Valith High Command that we should discuss some upgrades to their active fleet. Tanaka looked up from her station, grinning. Think they're ready to admit that perfection isn't everything. They'd better be, Chen replied, watching the stars through the viewport. Because I have a feeling the swarm will be back. And next time, they'll need more than just perfect efficiency to survive. The Starweaver hummed contentedly around them, its hybrid systems still evolving, still growing. It was no longer just a cast-off gift, or even just a warship. It had become something more, a bridge between two ways of thinking, a proof that the future belonged to those who could embrace both order and chaos. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, that future was just beginning to unfold. The Valith High Council chamber, with its perfect crystalline architecture and mathematically precise angles, had never hosted anything quite like this meeting. Admiral Chen stood before the assembled council, the holographic display behind her showing the modified Starweaver's battle performance against the swarm. High Emissary Taylor's scales shifted through colors that the translation software struggled to interpret: embarrassment, curiosity, and something that might have been respect. Your modifications to our discarded vessel, Taylor began, mandibles clicking thoughtfully. They defy several laws of quantum mechanics that we had believed to be immutable. No, Dr. Tanaka corrected from her position beside Chen. They defy your understanding of those laws. The universe doesn't care about our assumptions about perfection. The council chamber erupted in a cascade of color changes and clicking sounds. Chen noticed that several younger Valeth were leaning forward, their scales rippling with intense interest. "You turned our gift into something that shouldn't be possible," another council member stated. "Our systems indicated that combining Valeth quantum architecture with human neural networks would result in catastrophic failure." "Your systems," Shen replied carefully, "were designed to seek perfect solutions. But sometimes imperfection is exactly what you need." The swarm adapted to perfection. They couldn't adapt to evolution. Taylor rose from the council seat, approaching the holographic display. The footage showed the Starweaver executing maneuvers that made several council members visibly uncomfortable. Physics-defined turns, weapon configurations that switched between ordered and chaotic states, shield geometries that transformed like living things. "We gave you that ship," Taylor said slowly, "because we believed you needed to understand your place in the galaxy's hierarchy. We thought you needed to see how far you had to go. And we thank you for that gift," Chen responded, "because it helped us understand something crucial. There is no hierarchy. There's only evolution. The swarm taught us all that perfect systems are vulnerable precisely because of their perfection." Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, pulling up new schematics on the display. "We're not suggesting you abandon your technological principles. We're proposing integration. Imagine your quantum precision guided by human adaptability. Imagine ships that can think, grow, and evolve while maintaining the core efficiency you value." The chamber fell silent as the council studied the proposals. Chen could see the conflict in their color changes. Centuries of believing in the supremacy of perfect order wrestling with the undeniable evidence before them. A younger council member spoke up. "The swarm will return. Our predictive models suggest they're already adapting, learning from their defeat. When they come back, they'll face something they've never encountered before," Chen finished. "A combined fleet of Valeth and human ships, each one unique, each one capable of evolution. No perfect patterns to analyze, no fixed strategies to counter." Taylor's scales settled into a deep blue that the translation software identified as decisive. "What you suggest goes against everything we have built our civilization upon." And yet, the High Emissary turned to face the council. "We cannot deny the evidence before us. The swarm nearly destroyed us because we refused to adapt, because we believed too strongly in the perfection of our ways." "Perhaps," an elder council member observed, their scales shifting to show reluctant amazement. "This is why the universe led us to encounter humanity. Not for us to teach them, but for us to learn from each other," Tanaka completed. "Your gift taught us the value of quantum precision. Let us show you the beauty of controlled chaos." The council chamber's perfect silence was broken by something unprecedented. Valeth laughter, a harmonic clicking that set their scales shimmering with multiple colors at once. "To think," Taylor mused, "that our attempt to show you your place in the galaxy instead showed us our own limitations." The High Emissary's scales shifted to a color Chen had never seen before. "The Valeth Confederation formally requests an alliance with Earth, not as mentors, but as equals. There is much we can teach each other." Chen smiled, thinking of the Starweaver waiting in orbit, no longer a cast-off gift, but a symbol of what was possible when different ways of thinking came together. "We accept, and I believe our first joint project should be preparing for the swarm's return. They've learned about perfect order. Let's show them what controlled chaos can do." As the council chamber erupted in a rainbow of excited colors, Shen received a message from the Starweaver. The ship's hybrid systems had detected something at the edge of sensor range, massive quantum disturbances suggesting the swarm was already gathering for another attack. But this time, they wouldn't be facing a civilization bound by the chains of perceived perfection. They would face something new, an alliance that had learned to embrace both order and chaos, precision and adaptation, perfection and evolution. The gift that was meant to humble humanity had instead given birth to something unprecedented in the galaxy, a future where the strongest civilizations would be those that dared to grow beyond their own limitations. And somewhere in the vast darkness between the stars, the swarm was about to learn just how dangerous that combination could be. In the end, the Valith's greatest gift hadn't been the ship at all. It had been the opportunity to prove that the path to the future wasn't through perfection, but through evolution. And that was a lesson the entire galaxy would soon come to understand.